You're welcome.
Scoot, this is a real treat for me, man. I've been a big fan of your work for a long time, so I'm happy to talk with you.
Oh, thanks, Travis. Thanks so much for the kind words.
Absolutely, man. So let's talk about Blood for Dust. I'm gonna tell you what I thought about the movie right from the start. So
Tell
to
me,
me,
be honest.
it was kind of like Death of a Salesman meets Fargo in a lot of ways. And your character, to me, Cliff, he's got a lot of Willie Loman qualities to him. That's the way I read it when I was watching it. But what was it that drew you to it, and what did you see in the character? What attracted you to it?
I think Rod Blackhurst was a big part of it, the filmmaker, and the script that him and David had written. Um, but I also too, when we first started, it took us a while to get this film made, a good 3, maybe 4 years. And during that time when we really started, there was a connective tissue or connective through line that the economy was, COVID was going on, and people were struggling, and there's a lot of things happening in the world that it felt very poignant at that time of, like, people are taking desperate, are on hard times and taking desperate measures, so that was one of the things at the time that was that in doing the film was that theme, that it felt like it could connect to others, and others could see themselves in Cliff and understand them, or felt like that they felt like this at this time. Um, the others are just massive bonuses. Josh Lucas coming on board, and then Kit Harington coming on board, who just, both of them just incredible talented actors, and just they came in, they just did such a, just blew it out of the park. And Kit's character was so different than what he had played before that it was really fascinating to watch. But all in all, it was the whole team, it was the place, it was the setting, it was the script. I mean, all of it. It was just something that we did have to, or I did have to stick with for a while. And I was really, really wanted to work with Rod and really wanted to do this movie.
Did Cliff, because you mentioned that the film kind of took a while to get going. Did the character Cliff kind of evolve from one, like during that process, like from one thing to another, or did he kind of stay the same? Did you like add elements to it over the course of time?
No, I think the script, I mean, it changed a little bit. They did a couple rewrites, nothing to call out. But mostly it was mostly putting together the financing and whatnot, and trying to get that together. The script was pretty solid from the get-go. I think there was thing we did move it from a dustier, deserty location to a colder location,
Not
which
in Montana, right? They shoot
yeah,
in
in
Montana?
Montana. So I think that lent itself to a different sort of feel of the film, which I thought was a really good choice, that Rod made. Yeah, I mean, all in all,
You
it,
you mentioned Kit Harington and it being a different kind of role for him. Did you laugh when you saw the handlebar mustache first time you saw it, or did you? Yes,
oh,
I will admit I chuckled a little bit at first. I was like, handlebar, nice.
no, I really, man, Kit brought so much to this role, and so I mean, he's a great actor. I wanted to see what he's, so seeing him and then hearing him talk on the first day got me really excited about what he was doing, and like the tone of this film and what it was going to be like with him in it. So no, I think I might have laughed, but it was out of pure excitement and joy that, like, this is, what I mean, the film's taking shape.
Yeah, he is really good. Trust me, by the time the movie is over, I totally forgot about the handlebar. It's funny to see it first though.
Yeah.
So you talked about the shoot being kind of small scale and everything. What was it like shooting with Rod? You said he was a big reason that you were drawn to the film. What
Yeah.
was it about Rod and what he did on production that you liked so much?
A filmmaker that I'd worked with years ago had put the two of us in contact over a different project that it
Mm.
was really great, but I didn't feel like I fit into it. Um, and then his Amanda Knox documentary came out, and I watched that and just thought it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. I love documentaries. And so I reached back out to him just to say, hey, great job with the Amanda Knox thing. Do you have anything else that you're toying with? And he sent me Blood for Dust. I read it and I said, yeah, let's go. And, thinking it would be only a year or something. And it took us a good 3 years. But his temperament and his talent, his we both had shared the same interest in films, like tonally. We There's a lot of talk about I love this movie because of this, and I love this movie because of that, and so there was a real language that was understood between us. We were both trying to make this movie that's the type of movie that we both really really like, those types of films.
It does seem like you sort of, and if you don't mind me saying so, it seems like you sort of gravitated to movies of this scale, this size, and of this style. What is it that's attracting you to it?
Um, the story, I think I sort of touched on it a little bit earlier about it being relevant at the time with the people sort of struggling, but I mean, mostly stories are usually what sort of attract me to it, you know. I mean, this one would, as far as like, just as a whole, the whole group, Rod's team, he works with like all the same 5, 6 people all the time. So yeah, and they work all the time together. So when you come in and you show up on a well-oiled machine like this, it doesn't feel like a big one or a small one. It's just all the films, like big, small, they're all the same. I can't. I mean, when you're on a
That is
three.
not a perspective every actor has, so it's interesting to hear you say that.
Shit, well, some you get on, when you're on a $300 million movie, you can see it all around you. But when you're on a $40 million movie or a $1 million movie, our job doesn't change. It's all the same.
Good point. That's a good point. This movie, I was not prepared for the amount of violence in the final act of this movie. It gets really bloody, really, and you get a really nasty one at one point in the movie. Talk to me about shooting to action, how Rod shoots to action, and are you like comfortable shooting that much violence? 'Cause it's a lot of violence in a short amount of time.
Um, yeah, look, they were really, really, he executed those things really well. And obviously action sequences take a lot more
Mhm.
time to shoot. And so, I think he was really delicate with with that. He had the whole thing mapped out and storyboarded. Um, so it wasn't, it didn't, look, shoot, it's obviously, action sequences are much slower than the slow stuff goes really fast. The fast stuff goes
Yeah.
really slow. Um, so I don't know. I feel like he executed it and worked that really well. In regards to the violence, yeah, I mean there was a lot of violence in this, and I think that you're sort of dealing with in this particular project characters that are from a very violent world, and so you know there's a lot of violence too in this that Rod doesn't show. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen. But in telling this story, yes, it does lend itself to violence being a part of the third act, based on the characters that he had built up in that story and the culmination of them, colliding into a very violent scene.
Well, Scoot, this has been a real pleasure for me, man. Blood for Dust opens this week on the 19th, April 19th. I wish you the best of luck with the film, and I hope to talk to you again soon, man, for whatever you do next. Like I said,
Definitely,
I'm a big fan, and I'd love to talk to you again.
definitely, Travis. Thanks so much for taking the time, man. It was really nice speaking with you.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.